Hello. You are correct. The statement is made. He's probably doing his hair. Oh, big time. Big time. It was an absolute mess this morning. So I 100% had to do my hair. And it's not perfect. I'm not happy with it at all. I actually have to use the headphones to kind of like adjust it, but it's still not right. Oh, it's all lopsided and weird, and it's sticking up in spots, and I don't like that. You know? My God, I put so much paste in it that, it's just fucked. It's ridiculous how much of the pomade that I put in there, and it's still not right. Very disappointing. Welcome into the Eric St. Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day from right here in the Impact Power Sports studio. We begin again. Today is a Dear Meathead Day with my beloved 89 years old father, who will be 90 in a month and 3 days. Incredible. So if you have a question for Dad on Dear Meathead, I want you to reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. I received one from an audience member that I have to keep this under wraps, because I always respect the suggestions and the things that people tell me. And I'm not involved. I can only tell you what I know. In the past, there were two audience members who were an item. Boy, girl. Then they weren't an item. So that was that. These people remain on as audience members. I still would see them from time to time in separate places. No big deal. And no, I'm not going to tell you who this is, because I respect the request. Always. Well, the audience members, I see them together at Bosco's Pub at the bar. And I walk out and I go, hey. And I kind of like, oh, you two are together. And I had that look that I just had on my face. Oh, okay. And before I can even say hello, the female goes, don't say anything. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's not great. And I'm right away thinking about dude. I'm like, what the fuck? He is going to be, wondering what the fuck is happening here. So I played it off. I talked to you about this yesterday. And I'm like, I just like, oh, it's so good to see you guys. Have you been here before? I mean, I knew dude had been there, but I didn't recall girl being there. Oh, my God. Aram says, Eric Zaitunian was working at Bosco's. I see. Oh, yeah. The suggestion from Amanda, who writes, they were trying to get some closure. Nope. Nope. They were not. Because I just got a Dear Meathead question from the sweet dude in that saga. Good morning, Meathead. The other day, I was at my favorite bar with my girlfriend, and we ran into a mutual acquaintance. As soon as she saw him, she screamed, "Don't say anything!" to the acquaintance. I was so embarrassed, confused, and felt so awkward the rest of the evening. Yeah, I don't blame you. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? The barkeeper didn't even talk to me after that. Well, I don't know what you mean by that. What should I do? Her lame reason makes no sense. I can't speak for her. I can't say what was going through her mind, and I'm not going to attempt to. I responded to this nice person, and I said, well, context-wise, I don't know if this is going to work. My dad would probably be as confused as you were because he's not, So I figured I would bring it up here, Person follows up when I sent that, says, well, you're the gatekeeper and show producer extraordinaire. You know best. And then this person adds, my coworker is listening to Free Beer and laughing his ass off. I'm trying to convince him that isn't funny. I have a new job. I don't listen as often as I used to. And, well, I'm glad you're there. Now, I don't know if I can throw it out to you, the audience, and expect any type of viable advice. Cole, who's kind of wacky, says, get rid of her. Rebecca says, if you're trying to be on the down low, why would you go to Bosco's where they knew they would see you? Amanda seems to think that this is Hurricane Ashley. No, I'll tell you that. It's not. It is not Hurricane Ashley. But at the time, Amanda says, I didn't say that. Yeah, you wrote, maybe came in like a wrecking ball or a hurricane. So I know what you're suggesting. You're doing that thing where you suggest something, and then I easily connect your simple dots together, and then you bark at me. I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not putting words in my mouth, in your mouth, but I wish you would put a donut in yours so that I didn't have to see your name pop up on the chat. How's that? Anyway, that was the damnedest thing on my end, because when it all unfolded Monday, I was like, fuck, I'm out of here. As soon as that happened, I went into the back of the kitchen, and I'm not coming out. I made food. It was sent out to them, and from afar, I went, hey, how are the French fries? And they're like, oh, so good. I'm like, okay, great. Pew! Gone. See ya. No thanks. Bye-bye. Holy shit. We have someone in the chat who's annoying. Dixie Normus. Oh, all right. Thanks. Tyler says they are looking for attention. They could have gone anywhere, and they went to the place where Sex Hair Eric works. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there so that you're aware. And this person says, yeah, don't say anything. So I kind of did say something, but there's no way any of you are going to know who this is. None of you. I'll just say that. But the chick did make it extremely awkward by blurting that out. Yeah, don't say anything. It's like, oh, God. I'm thinking to myself, that poor dude, what the fuck is going on here? Jesus. Queen of the Forest came down the steps today. Ready for work. Decked out in the bright red leggings with the little pink hearts on them and a nice pink/reddish sweater for Valentine's Day, looking unbelievably cute in her little white sneakers and her little leggings. Dixie Normus writes, I'm annoying. I'm trying to figure out what you're chatting about. Yeah, well, just watch. Just watch and listen, and you'll figure it out. You don't need to fire off to the chat. Hey, what are you talking about? Quit being a pain in the ass and shut the fuck up. God damn it. It's a talk show. Who shows up to a talk show and just fucking starts saying, hey, what's going on? Tell me what's happening. You asshole. You'll learn the rules quickly around here. Now shut up and sit there. God damn it. The chat is not for you to say, hey, everybody, catch me up as to what the fuck is going on. Just sit there and everything will fucking work itself out. Tyler writes, stop everything and tell me what's going on here. Dixie Normus says, I'm new here and you treat your new chatters like this? Yeah, take this, fuckface. You already got a yellow. 2 more of those and you're getting, or 1 more of those and you're getting a red. All right? There's etiquette here. Who the fuck does that? Imagine the entitlement to just walk in onto a show and just say, hey, what's happening? Everybody tell me. That would be like if I'm in a conversation with 10 people at work. Let's say I had a job and I'm at there with and then some asshole who I don't know walks in and says, stop what you're talking about. Everyone tell me what he's saying. Get me up to speed, you dumb fuck. My God. Let this be a lesson to new people. This is how you handle this scenario. You creep in. You slowly gather up the terms to figure out what's going on. That's appropriate, polite etiquette. You don't barge into a goddamn chat and just say, hey, everybody tell me what's happening, you fucking moron. God damn. Tyler says, to be fair, 99.9% of new chatters aren't this annoying. Everybody else has figured it out. All right. Well, anyway, you sit there and enjoy this. No more questions from you. Just fucking quit being stupid. So Queen of the Forest comes downstairs and she's decked out all in red. Just lovely. And it's at that point that I'm reminded it's Valentine's Day. So then I'm like, are we I think we're far enough along in the marriage that we are well past Valentine's Day. We just don't do it. I'm pretty sure, but I'm thinking, am I going to have to go get the annoying flowers and spend the cash on this shit? And I go, yeah, happy Valentine's Day. She goes, oh, happy Valentine's Day. I could tell by her tone she just does not give a shit. I go, we don't do anything for Valentine's Day, do we? Just, God, no. No, she goes, I hate Valentine's Day. I hate buying all that shit. I go, oh, yeah. I go, so you don't have a Valentine? She goes, no. I go, me neither. She goes, okay, I love you. Give me a hug. And then we sniff each other's hair, and then that's that. Are you a hair sniffer? I am a hair sniffer. I am a Joe Biden hair sniffer. Now I understand why he likes sniffing hair, but he shouldn't do it on camera, and he shouldn't do it to kids. I am a hair sniffing extraordinaire, frankly. I love the smell of clean hair. It doesn't even have to be completely clean. And then off she goes. Now, I've got my daughters, too. Now, in the past, there has been like some father-daughter Valentine thing. But I'm considering rolling the dice and just like, fuck it. No one will even notice. I mean, they both have significant others. All right. So, I don't know. Our newfound friend here, Dixie Normus, really wants to be part of the group after that beatdown. And you're more than welcome to do whatever you want. Tyler says that Dixie Normus has already been blocked. Don't do that, Tyler. This might be a sensational thing. The person made it through the beat up that I gave and is still here. Welcome to you. If you want to help Dixie Normus, because that's what you want to do, you can absolutely help as much as you want. You took my best shot and you're still here. So welcome to you. Just know that you must have thick skin. Amanda writes, I always loved Valentine's Day at school because I knew there was going to be a party. However, now I couldn't care less. That was always the thing. You buy the box of Valentines, and then you would address them individually to the various students. But, you kind of wanted to tell Heather Essenmacher in the corner that she was the love of your life, or Jenny Markuzik that, you choose her. We had also candy and flower grams. Did your school have these? So if you wanted to indicate that you wanted to, make your fingers stink, you would send a candy and or a flower gram to someone. And that was a big deal. And I can still like almost imagine the excitement on the rare time that someone would send your old pal EZ a flower gram or a candy gram. I'm like, oh my God, I got one. And then you'd open up the message and it'd be like from a total bow wow. And you'd be like, oh, fuck. I immediately thought that if you got a flower gram, candy gram, that someone immediately wanted to bone you. So that was kind of like terrifying to me because some of the girls that would send those to me could easily have been in the WWE. I've always been little. And not only have I always been little, like short, I'm a short fucker. And I'm getting shorter, by the way. I think I'm actually knocking on the door of straight up 5'7", which is just so embarrassing. God damn it. Whenever I'm walking around Meyer or wherever I happen to be and I see someone who's my height or maybe a little taller, they always stand out to me, especially in an area where I live where there's a lot of tall people. For some reason, a lot of Dutch people are tall. So I'll be walking around Meyer, and then I'll see a little fucker, and I'm like, God, look at that little shit. Yeah, little fuck. Oh, my God, look at this little shit. He's such a little shithead. And then I get closer, and I realize he's actually taller than me. And I'm like, oh, God, that's you. You look alarmingly little. So when I would get these notes from chicks, and girls always grow quicker than boys. They hit puberty earlier and they get tall quickly. And they're, especially at around the age that I was at the time, they're all bigger than I was. And then you add to that, not only were they bigger kids to begin with, but they just had that Frank Ragnow type of appearance to them, or, Penei Sewell, lineman. Excuse me. So I'm like, God damn, these people could kill me. They would just smother me. They would actually use my whole body as a dildo. That was kind of like all in the game plan. So Valentine's Day for school-aged EZ would lead to excitement because somebody actually recognized me, and then terror of knowing that such a wildebeest wanted to smother me. Holy shit. So there you go. We have Valentine's Day. And speaking of of relationships, I was with that buddy at the Verve Pipe concert over the weekend, and we got into a conversation, and he goes, "How long you been married?" And I told him, and I have to think right now because I was married in 1992, so this will be my 32nd wedding anniversary. I go, I don't know, 32, 33 years. He goes, God damn, how long? When did you get married? I was 21. He goes, Jesus. I go, yeah, I was, that was at about the time when people started getting married a little bit later. And then now it's like, now people don't get married till they're like 45. And I go, yeah, we made it. We're the ones that made it. He goes, my God, I didn't settle down till I was in like approaching my mid-30s. I go, yeah, I know. I know how it is. All my friends, none of them got married at a young age. They all waited. But I really outkicked the coverage. Okay? And it's like, I got to tie this one up. That's the best decision I ever made. I didn't ask any questions. I didn't think too hard. I didn't think about it that much. It was literally at a stoplight at the corner of Broadway and what are those streets in Mount Pleasant? I think it's Mission. I was at that intersection, first in line at the light, and then I looked through the light, and on the left there's a jeweler to the south of Broadway. So across the street from the Wayside, if anybody knows that area. It's torn down now. I tried to go back there, and it's no longer there. And I see it, and in the span of about 15 seconds, by the time the light turned green, I said, I am going to go in there. I'm going to buy an engagement ring, and I'm going to give it to Diana by the end of the day. And I'm going to ask her to marry me. That's it. Mission and Broomfield. Thank you. Step on the gas. Pull in. The ring cost $100. Get the ring. Walk out of there. Made a left. Went over to United Apartments right next door to WCEN radio station. That's where it was at the time. Across the street from the Walmart. I don't know if it's still there. Put the ring under a pillow on our waterbed. And Linda says that's not the ring she's wearing today. No, of course, I had to upgrade. Are you kidding me? There's been 2 upgrades. Anyway, she gets home. Little Pooh Bear. And she crawls in the waterbed with me. Hey, how was your day? Fine. Yeah, I'm just resting. It's a long day of classes. I'm in school. I'm in college at the time. I think I was maybe 19 years old then. She would always put her hand under her pillow and then sleep with the arm under the pillow. And she feels the box. And she's like, what the? And she pulls it out. And I go, hey, let's get married. Would you marry me? I didn't take a knee, nothing like that. I wish I did. And then there you go. The rest is history. I was talking with Doug from Bosco's the other day, and we were talking about being married. And I go, do you have a lot of friends who are like divorced? He goes, yeah, they're all divorced. I go, yeah, pretty much mine are too. We're like the only ones that are married. He goes, yes. I go, how did we survive this? I mean, because you're a fucking felon. I mean, like literally, you're a felon. And I'm just a fucking psychopath. How did we make it? He goes, I don't know. I go, it's good women. We just got lucky. We fucking found good women. That's what happened, Doug. And then he's such a dumbass. He goes, it's my cock. I go, oh, shut up, Doug. Are you kidding me? Kyle says, you must be a good husband. No, my God. Those moments, God, so embarrassing. They felt so bad when poor Freebeer would say that. Couldn't figure out that whole dynamic when that dummy would say that on the radio. Who says, hey, guys, I want you to know I'm a good husband? That's something you say in the mirror when you're alone. You don't announce it on the radio because you never know what the hell could happen, and it just sounds douchey. After a few times after Greg announced on the radio that he was a good husband, we would pay attention. And if he ever did say it, or if he was ever talking about something with his then wife, Amanda, we would intervene and say, hey, well, you know, the reason why this is that this is going so well for you, or because she's so happy, it's because you're a great husband. And he would get so pissed. Oh, my God. You really are a great husband. You're right. You're a great husband. And then eventually he quit doing that. But I mentioned that the guy that I was at that Verve Pipe concert with, I said to the guy, I go, look, I need to reach out to Brian Vander Ark from the Verve Pipe and let him know, hey, buddy, you guys were fantastic, and send him the clip of my Verve Pipe concert review from yesterday. And so I got his number, and I sent it off to him, and I was like, God, I sure hope he doesn't think I'm a fucking tool. But I meant it. I mean, I felt, I wrote, Brian, it's easy. I was going to write my thoughts about your show on Saturday, but it was easier to talk about it on my podcast. Plus, I was excited to tell everyone what I saw. I chatted about it for a few minutes on my podcast, the attached link. One thing I meant to say but forgot was what one point in the show reminded me of. In the song Medicate Myself, you kind of handed it off to Channing Lee, and she took over. She did like a, I described it as her amazing wordless performance. Reminded me of the song The Great Gig in the Sky from Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. The lady who sang that was Claire Torrey. It was a phenomenal moment by all, but especially Channing Lee. Anyhow, please check out what I said at my show. What I saw and heard Saturday was very special. And he wrote back. Brian writes, dude, thank you. High praise. Much appreciated. I'll share it with the gang and on our socials. Well, that's very kind. I didn't want you to do that, but thank you. Sorry I didn't come out after. Have me on the show, and I'll tell you all about it. Short version, I have so much family in Grand Rapids, I had to meet with everyone up until we got on stage. So I really need to make him make it a point to get Brian on the show to talk about that concert. So I'm going to plan that, and I'll share it with you all. And I've become, this is what I do. When I become a fan of, let's say, someone like this, an artist who, the Verve Pipe should be bigger. Like, they should be worldwide phenomena. They were that good. And so once I, like, get my mitts on something, I, like, really want it to work. So, like Waylon, you know, you think about them, and at the time, remember how much I was into Kid Rock? Well, eventually that dried up because he became such an asshole. But my God. Once I get into something, I'm like all about it. Aram says, bring him and the band into the studio for an acoustic show. I would, but I would be embarrassed. I've got such a meager setup here. I'm always like afraid of that. Chris says, is Brian on WLAV now? Yes, he's on Afternoon Drive. Kyle says when he was on WBBL, they came in and did an acoustic version of The Freshman. Aram says, I remember that. I think I do. All those days are kind of like a blur to me. All right. Well, there will be more, I'm sure. I'm sure we'll have interactions down the road. Thank you for being here and checking out the show. For the folks on Facebook, X, and YouTube, you are exceptional. Thank you so much. Another great idea. What about an acoustic show at Bosco's? You provide the fries. Well, I would, but the fries that I would make no one would even be paying attention to Brian because the fries are so good, Chris says a lot of bands have covered that song. That's true. Did you know that Brian provided a song for the film Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg, and he was even in that movie? I don't know the part he played. I heard him talking about that on the radio. He was in the movie Rockstar. Dixie writes, y'all muted me from him. Awesome. Great friends. No, I see you. The only reason why I read that one is not to let you know that I'm seeing you, but I'm just not really reading what you're saying because it's not really my thing to have conversations, deep chat conversations with people on the chat. That's not what I do. I might read a joke or a comment here or there. I'm giving you the rope, the long rope, because you're new here. So I'm just letting you figure that out. The initial rant is part of the show. And it seems like you didn't take it too personal because you're still here. Amanda says, Eric, I gave up on Dixie. If he stays, he stays. If not, bye-bye. Yeah, we people come and go all the time. We don't have to be best friends with them. And this is a new person, and, whatever. I'm just not really interested because, let's be honest here, the thing I am the most interested in is me at all times. No matter what anybody says or does, there is no more interesting person on the planet than me. And that's the attitude I have to have going into this. I'm extremely interesting. That's why you're here. That's why the 3 or 4 dozen people every day are here. Chris says, and your hair. Of course, my hair. Tyler says, the most obnoxious person who has ever entered the chat. This is the first time I've ever blocked someone. LOL. Oh, no, don't do that. You shouldn't. Don't. Because what you're going to see, then you will miss the metamorphosis. Okay? You will miss the metamorphosis, which is the show of seeing the person get up to speed with how things work here. Like, for example, I see something else written down. It's TLDR. I can't, if I'm alone and it's TLDR, I can't be sitting there reading. If I'm reading too much, that means I'm not podcasting or live streaming. That's how this works. It's all, look, this is about me. That's the only reason why anybody is here. Me. If it were about you, you would have like a podcast or a show. And you should. Or you can sit here and enjoy mine. That's okay with me. I'm glad you're here. It's always fun to have someone new. Absolutely. Anyway, where was I? For the people who are watching on Facebook, X, and YouTube, thank you so much. You can subscribe to the audio podcast wherever you download shows. You can send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com, on the Shoreliner Striping inbox. You can also subscribe to me on Twitch and get the rest of this show for free every single day. All right? That is twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or download the Twitch app. I also have a Patreon where tomorrow is a Big Fraud Thursday. We have 2 shows lined up. Who Are These Free Beers, which will start at about 6:15 Eastern Time. And then the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast right after that. On this week's Who Are These Free Beers, we will be discussing, well, at least my clips. Ben's got his own clips. I'm not sure what he's going through and pulling. They took a deep dive on a how to be a clown instructional video. There was a video from like 25 years ago where somebody is giving like a tutorial about how to be a clown in front of like old people at the old folks home, and what to do right and what to do wrong. Which that actually sounds funny to hear that. That would be a fun thing to actually review. The thing that stood out to me, all right, is that, especially when Greg started talking, Greg had a few jokes that I don't think were that terrible. I mean, they were, C. All right. And the rest of the crew gave him absolutely nothing. They didn't let the joke breathe. They did let it breathe, but there was no reaction whatsoever. He got no love whatsoever on his jokes. And then as it went on, they started to step on each other, all talk at the same time, race towards jokes, not so good jokes. There was nothing really outstandingly funny in it. It probably was their best moment they've had in a long time, frankly. But I will get into that, and I will play it for our very own Ben Glaze. That is the environment that Ben Glaze excels at most. When Ben pulls his own clips and sets them up like you've seen him do, he does not do that whole fucking thing nearly as bad.
Had starting to melt where the headlights go. I'm doing well. Nothing.
So Ben will join me. There's a theory going around from Chris, who is the one who listens to X's and Bros and pulls those clips of Ben on the intro. And Chris wants to make it very, very clear. He's more poking fun at Ben's radio partner, Anthony. Because Anthony always makes it so goddamn awkward. And I agree with that to some degree. But Chris is worried that Ben's getting hurt. Every so often, in the last few weeks, an episode or 2 a week, we'll be missing the intro segment for X's and Bros. And I just want to make sure that's not because of me. I don't want to hurt Ben's feelings. I don't want him uncomfortable with me sending them to you or anything like that. Genuinely, what makes it funny is Anthony. He makes it so awkward for him, and that's where the humor comes from. And I agree with that. He says, I don't know if I'm overthinking it, but I've just noticed a few times where the opening segment is missing, and I figured I'd shoot you an email and make sure Ben is okay with me sending them on to you. Signed, Chris. I said, Chris, I'll double check with Ben. I think it's time we just basically rip the Band-Aid off and say, Ben, so you're not too pissed, are you? I hope not. I don't want to upset Ben. I love Ben. He's one of the sweetest people on the planet, without a doubt. See if we can get him in here. I don't know if we can hear him. I think he's doing his radio show.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Dixie Normus writes, listen, anyone in the chat, I never have listened to this kind of chat. Please have some patience for me. I'm trying to learn rather than criticizing. Maybe help. Yeah, I think what we have here is, unless I'm being fooled, this is like a new person who is not quite used to this type of thing. All right? So the fact that you're still here after that beat up early on is remarkable. Kenny writes, here's the help you need, but don't necessarily want. Shush. Listen, hang out. Don't chat so much and just give it some time. Yes, and it's much appreciated. That was from Mitch. Now, Tyler said he should be popping in the chat in about 15 minutes. Dixie says exactly what he said. I don't know what I'm listening to. Yeah, I know, but I did say to you, just relax. Stop typing so much. Just watch. All you have to do is enjoy. You don't have to. There's no burden of not. I don't want to say proof. There's no burden of conversation on you. All right, it's all up to me. Yeah, I put it on autopilot. I'll do all the heavy lifting. It's my job to engage you for 2 hours every single day, Monday to Friday. Some of you, the audience are ripping on you because you keep saying the same thing over and over again. Everybody understands that if you are who you, if what you say is true, and I don't know that you've never listened before. Everybody is well aware that you are new. But I've made it very clear, if you would just stop. If you see, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me or anybody. You're more concerned about putting something in the chat. And sometimes people do that. I'm guessing you're young. You got to actually listen. Like, heed. Pay attention and then put it into action. You know? But you're too busy thinking of something to write. So I know you're not listening. You know what I mean? You know, like when you pick up a new show, you don't always have the luxury of starting at the very beginning. Dumbass Ben writes, what did I miss? Asshole. I just got done telling everybody don't do that. Corey says, Eric doesn't really get how Twitch works. That sounds insulting. I will beat your fucking ass. Do you realize, aren't you in Maine, Corey? I am going to be where you live before you know it. Corey says, Twitch looks for activity in the chat when you apply for partner. I don't give a fuck. Do you think that I'm sitting here like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and type away, you asshole? Dixie now is offended because I said Corey lives in fucking Maine. Yeah, you really don't know how it works here. You need to go watch some fucking idiot playing a video game. Nick says Dixie is young, foreign, and probably a bot. Not Chuck Norris writes, I think Dixie is Steve McKiernan. Oh, no, I just doxed somebody. Doxed. I don't know how those bots work, by the way. You guys say that, and I mean, how does a robot just suddenly start having a fucking conversation with us? How does that even work? And actually respond to our questions, to the things that we're saying. How is that even possible? All right. We've got a lot more to get to, including my dad in 10 minutes. I'll bring him in for Dear Meathead. So if you have a question to send along for Dad, please do so. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. He always loves to hear from you. All right. The open and live stream